Hello and aloha to everybody in the planet, especially my fellow Canadians. Excuse me. Time is 11:23. Today is 30th of August. I'm going to be talking tonight to share my opinion on the educations. Although this is magnified to work within Canada. But perhaps there are many countries similar to this. Educations is a very important word and an important act. But it usually in the two-dimensional world that we have, our two-dimensional civilizations, where we understand the economical needs and the social needs. As for the spiritual, there is no true definitions. People call it emotions. The actual virtues that could save the life of the humanity in the planet, such as bravery, such as giving. It's all they say the person is under certain emotion. Very wrong. So, one of the things that eventually we have to do, we have to recognize the need of the spiritual dimensions in the life of our people, specifically in Canada, and start to make it a part of curriculum. Now, it should not be a misunderstanding here. When I'm talking about spirituality, I'm not talking about a certain religion, even Baha'i Faith. This is not about a particular ideology. It's about the sheer facts that in this country of ours, there are people based on the human values that have sacrificed their life, such as Terry Fox, such as Rick Hansen. These people have done things which are all spiritual, and that's what the meaning of spirituality is. We have to teach people the sacrifice. We have to teach them about giving. We have to teach who's Nelson Mandela. This is very important, and there are a great many examples in all the cultures of the world of the people who saved the life of others or sacrificed their life in service of humanity. These figures and these attributes and qualities have to be a part of educations for us to not forget the spiritual values. This is, I think, gravely missing in our curriculum of studies. Now let's go talk about the level of education we're talking here. Well, basically this primary, in which you have kindergarten, and then which is the part of primary, elementary school. Then you have high school. And then you have college and university, basically 3 levels. But I think there's another level that man has to be educated, and somehow or rather is being, but is not by law recognized fully yet. And that's daycare systems, where the child, from the time that borns right to the age of 5, needs to get educations. I mean, you better know that if a child is grown and taught well in kindergarten, he will appear to be a better student in elementary schools. And if it's a good student in elementary school, there's good basis for him to be a better student, better chances for him in high school. Great high school student with a big average, they go to university, some go to college. If this is the case, we should say also, children are born right to the age of 5, before you get to the kindergarten. If they're taught properly, even at their level, they appear to be better attending and better understanding the kindergarten. Therefore, if this is the case, how could we say that there is no education for a child that's born until age of 5. Now, I'm not trying to say that, okay, the babies have to be separated from their mother and going down to the daycare system with the teachers. No. For me, in a proper society, in a ideal society, an evolved phase of this Canada that we have, entering to the Canadianism to understand it, the children from the time they're born to age of 5 definitely is the best to be raised and taught by the parents, mom or dad, whichever one choose to stay at home. So I've spoken in the past that society has got humanity is born in two different womb. One is the physical womb of our mothers, or we get all these faculties such as hand and legs and eyes and ears, and then we need the womb, social womb of a family, in which up and until 15 to 22, 24, we need to grow in it. In that case, a lot of studies, a lot of education can be obtained, a lot of upbringing, positive upbringing, within this family, within this womb, where the mothers, classically, or fathers, in a modern world, they would actually teach the children a lot of positive stuff. In that case, family becomes an institution, which if functions well, it creates a great taxpayers, a contributing member to the society. At least it will not be a burden on the society, as the case is in Canada and many welfare families. Children look at the statistics, they're not brought up properly, or in a single parents families. So if you look at this family as an institution, as an educational institution, which can contribute especially spiritual values and proper upbringing of the kids, in that case, parents have to be considered as teachers. And quite honestly, they have to be paid. Why? Because they're creating a taxpayers. They're preventing a burden on the society. In this case, if that is the case, then these parents, or so-called teachers, have to become qualified. Isn't it? And these qualifications, if it is recognized legally, they would have to go through some kind of a class, decided, legislated by the government, and well, the psychologists, sociologists, many people can decide, what their curriculum is for a person who wants from being single, from being a bachelor, to become a mother or a father. It's a step. And in that case, they have to learn the very basic fundamentals. And they have to be qualified. If they are going to be smoking, drinking, substance abuse, bad attitudes, violence, they lose the qualifications. Essentially in Canada, we do not recognize the true rights for the people. I'm going to be talking about that later on. One, I call it the right of unborn. Anyone in Canada, out of these 30 million people, or in the world, about 6 billion people, I ask, does anybody like to born in this life with AIDS, with the sickness of AIDS, with hemophiliac, with some disease that cannot be cured at all? The answer is no. Nobody likes that. So, does this tell us then humanity does not want to be born from a family, from a mother, to be given a life in which he is having certain syndromes, certain disease, certain sickness? But the parents, they did not try to seek for a cure, to do anything about it. Carelessly, knowingly, they went and she became pregnant, and they parented a child knowingly that this child will be a sick child, a sickness that cannot get fixed. Now, if it is blind, it's something. Blindness is not a sickness, in my opinion, it's a condition. But if you have AIDS or certain disease that cannot be cured, then you're born to die. Well, it's the story of suffering. I think somebody was talking today telling me that, oh, Hitler wanted to do that too. That the child has the right, the unborn child, to say that I do not want to be born in these conditions. So the person who has AIDS or any disease as such has to be advised not to have kids, because your kids will have these things and the consequences of it is these things. It's to be. But if still she or he does not accept it, they have to be sterilized, quite honestly. Why? Because you're hurting another human being. You have a chance of creating a person, bringing him this life who doesn't want it. A child can say, a human being can say that I did not want to be born by this condition. You know, if this is what it is, then we have to prevent it. This is the right of unborn. The other thing that in Canada, the people, they don't care, it seems very well, partially they do, is the right of a child. You can't beat a child, you go to jail. You can't make him hungry, you go to jail. But if you hurt his feeling, it's okay. If mom and dad decide, okay, we're going to fight, huge fight in front of this child, and then I'm just going to quit from being a father. What about the child? Child does not want to get divorced from his mom and dad. Do we have any law for that? To protect his little children? When a person has a child, he's signing a contract. He puts the pen into the ink pad and writes a child. Now he's under contract. In my opinion, divorce has to be very, very difficult. They have to pay huge prices if they want to harm and hurt a person after they decide to have that. Anyways, I'll talk about that later on. So in my opinion, if we do this, imagine how many women, if they want to stay at home, or men, we're creating a lot of jobs right now. From 1 to 5, 100% minimum wage, I say. For kindergarten or school, elementary school, how about 75% of the wage? And for the high school, 50%. College, university, about 25%. Second child's different percentages if they have more. We have to protect the institution of family. It's a big, old, ancient institution where humanity is born in it. Great individuals. Why are we killing these institutions? By stupid laws that we have or not. We don't have the good laws that we should have. So a lot of people are having jobs. Then the door gets open for so many other jobs, people to get employed. So somebody told me that, all right, let me know when the lottery ticket you want, I'm going to legislate the law. No. I have worked out that a society like this, then there's no welfare really. Because in a society like this, it's illegal not to have a job. No job is illegal. Everyone will work, has to have a job, government has to have a job, any kind of job. Because of the job, they pay taxes. Then we don't need really welfare, because everybody's working. The money that you're giving to the welfare recipient, come back and spend it for this. Just divert it from another place to another place. So we could support this, is no problem. This way we can make the family really strong, the social womb. But I like to see some good Anglo-Saxons born out of it, like those who built Canada, who traveled from Europe and came down and built this country. So this thing probably, proposed in the past that, hey, this is one of those societies, like a communist society, Hitler society, all kind of things they've told me that. But actually it's not. If you think about it, we have so many other laws that are way worse, in cutting human rights, human possibilities. This actually enhances it, I'm referring to my notes. See. So, once we start doing this, in a society like this, the period of the educations, which right now is probably 18 years by the time you get your high school, and you have to go another 4 years, average 22 if you're the best students. About 22, by the time 23 probably you can get a good job. Or if you finish at 18 and you don't want to go to university or college, might be getting a job. But in the Baha'i Faith, the age of maturity is 15. And even in Canada, we have a challenge to meet that 15, to be mature. Imagine at age 15, where you're really feeling like a man, sexually you're active, ready as a girl or boy. Imagine you're married at the time, you have a job. By the time you're 30, your children are already 15 and 16. See how much more we live this way. Younger parents, than before, as I said, 30, they already could be starting to feel retired. Our children are 15 and 16. We have to work at it. I'm thinking that age of 1 to 5, you're getting educated by your mother. 4 years for primary elementary school, and 4 years in high school. What makes it that? 4 and 4, 8 and 5, 13, and 2 years in the college. There you go. You're about 15 now, and you're coming out of college, you're ready to work at age 15. So I think elementary school should be really for being able to read and write. Today, use the computer, typing. Definitely understanding. I've said that before, a part of curriculum about human values, psychologically, spiritually, and the body. To know the first aids, a lot of things that you should be able to learn not to do it. It's going to harm your body, and do it because it's good for you. That's basically, it should be a little bit of mathematics and maybe science. And in the high school, that 4 years, essentially the students will be ready to be able to go to work. And at the college has to become a virtual institution, in my opinion, which means a center where has affiliation with all the qualified businesses in town. The electrician, the plumber, name it. Anything in the housing industry, or even in ambulance, in driving, name it. All the jobs that are qualified, they become the college. The student is not going just to learn and not produce. He actually enters the work area. This kind of businesses, they could be qualified by going through certain training. They will get these students for free workers. How about that? College is responsible to see the curriculum is taken